Hi guys, welcome back to the Heel Project. Well, the podcast.
So.
We are back with the wow. As you can see, last night, technically this morning, we watched AEW Full Gear, and I tell you what, boys, it was bloody excellent.
I enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it, and I said it a million times last night, and I'm going to say it again. Do them all on Saturdays, please.
Yeah, all pay-per-views should be on a Saturday.
It should be on a Saturday.
I've even managed to watch the F1 this morning and get some sleep as well, and then record the podcast. It's a decent effort so far today.
A productive Sunday.
But what I feel like I need to do is I need to film a podcast with my mates and sit here and do some punishments. Oh wait, no, I don't. No, I don't. Nor does Link, nor does Pete, because for the second week in a row, so second show in a row.
Fine. Yeah.
We all beat the AI, and so the sardines, the bloody fish, the mashed potato and the monster mash, the mashed potato monster, is no longer on the table for a punishment.
And the thing is, none of those predictions were easy. We really thought we were all going to lose this one. We thought we were going to lose both.
We actually beat the AI this time as well. Last time, I think I drew.
No, because if you draw,
unless you got a clean sweep, you couldn't.
You still lose. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, we actually beat the AI this time. We was all ahead of the AI by the end.
No,
you had to be last time.
You had to be last time.
You can't draw with the AI.
I know we had to be last time, but we did still draw points wise last time, regardless of whether we'd have lost or no.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
To sleep.
Ignore me.
Literally, you made the rules.
You cannot draw.
You made the rules. You said you cannot draw. No matter what.
No, you're right. Yeah, I'd have had to do the punishment if I drew.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, no, you're right.
So anyway.
Yeah, it's a long night.
We thoroughly enjoyed AEW. We started off with a 0 hour. Well, actually, that's a lie. We started with a pre-show for a 0 hour.
Pre-show.
Not doing that again. I'll tell you what, boys.
No.
I'm going to read the small print and realise that said pre-show for a 0 hour. So I was thinking, a 0 hour, an hour and a half? What?
It was 0 hour pre-show.
But it didn't make sense because it said pre-show 0 hour, and you just think, oh, that's the pre-show that's called 0 hour.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
Yeah,
because that's what it is.
It was a pre-show for
0 hour, which is just ridiculous.
It was like, hey, we're AEW. We do a show before a show, and then we need to talk about the show before the show.
Before the show, yeah.
And it's like,
well, they're saying that they did 4 shows in a row the other day.
Yeah,
because they did Collision followed by Rampage followed by Ring of Honor taping. Followed by another Ring of Honor taping, so it's
that's a bit mad, really. Isn't it?
It's not unusual for them, is it?
The fans got their money's worth that night.
Yeah.
The whole show, though. I mean, out of all of that, that's the only complaint. There's probably one more complaint I had for the whole show. That's pretty bloody good. That's pretty.
If I had another complaint,
I got one. I got one. I got one, and everyone would go, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's fair." We started the show, though, with a 0 hour. Eddie Kingston defeating Jay Lethal. A match that I didn't care for. You know what I mean?
It existed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know, I was more interested in what happened with Eddie Kingston afterwards in his interview backstage.
Which was
backstage,
what?
Was it was on the run?
He
did do a later one.
He's entered the tournament. And he said that both his belts, and I checked this morning to make sure it's both his belts are going to be on the line in that as well. So if he loses, there's going to be a new charity. Someone's getting both of his belts and the winner of the tournament.
I mean, yeah.
So,
well, I mean, it eliminates a lot of people from being able to win that tournament as well, though, because so the Ring of Honor Championship. Fair enough, because anybody in AEW can win that.
Yeah, and it's the New
Japan Strong Championship. It's only going to be open to a limited number of people that can win that belt because New Japan would have to sign off on it as well, which means there have to be people that can work with New Japan. So it limits who can actually win.
Yeah. Not necessarily. They could lose it to someone else in AEW.
Yeah,
New Japan most really allow it. And
New Japan would still have to sign off on it. New Japan don't tend to do the hot swapping of belts, so
Or
They've
do you
got-
want to
they're
throw
working
that
on-
out there as an early thing? Eddie Kingston wins the tournament.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'd lean with that.
Yeah.
Or Danielson being the first person mentioned, and I
Yeah.
know he's going to New Japan at some point. In
Andrade
fact, we know
would-
he is. He's going to Wrestle Kingdom.
Andrade would be good as well, though. He would work over there.
I think Andrade's not allowed to work over there because of his connections with CMLL, if I'm correct.
That's because he would be a fit.
But yeah.
Otherwise, it was just a pre-show match.
It was, and it was like I'm glad this was on the 0 hour. But the other, that was one of two that we didn't know about. So this was the two that the 2K sim didn't sim, and the other one was being Claudio Castagnoli against Buddy Matthews. Tell you what, boys, that was a match that performed exactly how I expected. A match that Link, I think you went. Oh, I can't remember where you went. You went to grab food or something, or you went to put the dog out. I don't know which one it was, but me and Pete both said if this had been in WWE, I can easily see this being like a really good minor title match.
Yeah, a really top IC match.
Yeah, and like it served its purpose in the 0 hour. It filled out the 0 hour nicely. The match was solid. 10 minutes. Okay, if that was obviously main show, you could have easily given them 20, no problem. 10 minutes for a 0 hour match that was really good. You take it, don't you?
Carried on building the feud between the two stables as well.
Yeah,
at the end.
yeah, because Claudio went to shake hands with Buddy, and then Buddy was just like, no, no swearing. and it was like, and then I like what Claudio did. He was just like, sweeped it off.
What else did he do? He couldn't see Buddy Matthews, which was really weird.
Oh yes, that was odd. That was in the 0 hour. The commentary team made no mention of it whatsoever.
None at all.
He just went, "You can't see me." As Buddy, actually said it as Buddy Matthews walking back to the back.
I wonder if that was a little nod to Cena, because he must still be friends with Cena, and knowing there's rumours that Cena's retiring, was that a little nod to him?
I wonder if there's no mention of it because of copyright reasons.
Yeah, but I wonder if just a little thing from Claudio.
Claudio's got a nice little £2,000 fine or $1 fine or something this morning.
The wrestlers seemed to go off script a couple of times last night. To put it simply.
And I was good with it. Speaking of what I thought actually was off script, was that MJF was defending his Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship with Samoa Joe. I'm not sure when that one got. Did that one? I'm guessing that one got announced Friday.
No, yeah, it was decided on Collision.
Yeah, because we didn't know about it for Dynamite. Otherwise, we would have had it for the simulation, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we didn't know about it Thursday. It was to be confirmed.
Yeah, to be announced. It was MJF and TBA,
and then we found out when we was watching the pre-show.
It was a weird one because it was like
it made sense.
Yes and no, because I feel like the Guns winning it would have probably been about right now, and then and especially if the Guns had won, and then MJF still retained later on, like it still made sense. It just sort of spread them about a little bit. But
the thing was, it was the whole thing, weren't it? As soon as it was Joe announced, kind of knew, because Joe's been told he can have that title shot as long as he protects basically MJF.
The thing for me is, if we're going to have two of the top guys as the tag champs, that sort of, do you know what I mean? It's like one of them dream teams, and you throw two top guys together as a team.
Yeah.
And you're going to eventually, they've got to drop them eventually. Surely the best time to drop them and not make anybody look particularly weak is when it's 2-on-1 and when one of the partners is out.
Yeah.
And especially, we've said, Ring of Honor titles really.
So if you want to know what Pete had to say, feel free to tune in at a later date, we've lost Pete. Hopefully he'll wake up.
And do you know what? I'm not even going to edit this bit out because we're gonna roll with the punches on this one. So yeah, what Pete was saying, everyone, is I'm going to get ready for the overlay switches, and MJF then sort of got smashed up by did he get smashed up by the Guns?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was the Guns, wasn't it? The Smash Mouth. There wasn't anybody else that
Jay
came
White
out.
came out as well.
The devil's taking him. The devil took him. Hi,
Jesus
Pete.
took the wheel on that one.
We're still going, by the way, Pete. We're still going.
Perfect. Yes, yeah, so my internet just completely dropped.
It was just the fact that you came back.
That's just an empty chair when you came back. Okay.
I was making sure Lee didn't come out of the other room.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But
So I know she's mopping, and the internet completely cut out. I was like, she's pulled the lead.
But yeah, MJF getting beat up, taken to the hospital in the ambulance, demanding that Adam Cole prevents Jay White from becoming champion, because the stipulation was there that if Jay White didn't get a title match, then he'd become the world champion.
He was given the title because he took it for some reason. Yeah,
honestly, the whole thing is a bit stupid, if you ask me.
If he didn't get a title shot that night, he was becoming champion. Yeah.
Yeah, I think his argument was that MJF was trying to duck him or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, if MJF ducks him, then the belt's just automatically awarded to him.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that, and that obviously led on nicely for the show. Later on in the show, at some point, I don't know which match it was between, I'm going to say it now, was that Jay White was about to be announced as world champion, and then out comes Adam Cole, and Adam Cole says, steps up, and he was going to do the replacement for the main event, which we'll get to, which was very weird.
It was weird. I wasn't a massive fan of the main event, honestly, but we'll get to that.
So, I've got my first complaint, guys. my last complaint, hopefully. My first complaint for the main show. Ric Flair appeared. There you go. Ric Flair was my complaint. Like, why?
You know, I was okay with it for some reason. Is he didn't really get involved too much. I was worried he was.
It's like Christian, mate.
No, but Christian also got him back, so I was fine with that. I evened out.
He exists.
I really thought we were going to see him with some heel turn or something, which made me think, hold on, that means we're going to see a lot more of him.
It's too early for that.
I said that in the 0 hour, didn't I? Or maybe even the 0 hour pre-show. I might have said that I could see Ric Flair turning heel out of this lot, and even potentially joining Christian.
Yeah. But that means we would have seen a lot more of him, and I'm not good with that.
No, true. But Christian leaving his team though. Left the building, guys, halfway through his match, and he left Luchasaurus to get Nick Wayne to get beaten up, and then Luchasaurus to be destroyed and getting taken the pin.
Him and Adam Copeland never actually came to blows at all during this entire match.
Did. Yes, they did.
You're wrong, and I back Thub on this. Thub, if you happen to watch, and I know you don't tend to watch on YouTube, but he did say in the comments last
Christian
night on
got
the stream,
Edge.
Christian came under the ring. Christian
came
through under the ring and then started attacking Edge.
Yeah, he took Edge out and then done a run-up, so he couldn't get back.
I think you're probably right the other way around. Edge maybe hasn't got a touch on Christian yet.
Christian was sneaky and got a little... Yeah, took him off the ropes, took him out for a second, and then ran.
Maybe part of it. So I think we're going to have a big pop when we get that first spear on Christian at last, because that's what Edge set up for last night before Christian was like, nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'd rather them just never attack each other and start working together as a team. But hey, a man can dream, right?
Well, this is what we were alluding to last night, wasn't it? We would all like to see Sting and Darby Allin against Edge and Christian as Sting's last ever match.
Adam Copeland and Christian, yeah, I think that'd be.
All right, yeah, but yeah,
I think it'd be good. I think it'd be good. I reckon they could still get away with calling them ENC. So
yeah, he's made it like the big farewell to being there. He's never performed in LA again. Sting got the big send off.
Yeah, Darby Allin got from swearing.
Darby Allin swore a lot.
No swearing, but yeah, it was a
good little moment.
This for me was sort of like that one that was like, I'm glad this was the first match of the night, because they did have the women's ones on, and I was like, what we thought was going to be first, according to the Wikipedia entries, was that the women's match would be on first. It would have been like, I think that would have been a bit of a flat start. So
the only thing I'm not looking
Sting and
now,
Adam Copeland and Christian, I think that's good. Well, even Ric Flair adds something to that because some people like him for some reason. So he adds something, he gives that pop. So whatever.
The only thing is, apart from this, has now turned into like the bit of like the Sting farewell tour now,
Yeah,
which they've alluded. The problem is, apart from maybe his last match,
Yeah.
it's kind of obvious that he's not going to be losing any.
exactly what I was going
Because
to
he's
say.
doing a farewell tour.
Exactly what I was going to say. Is he going to win
He's going
every
to get
single
this little
match
spot everywhere.
until his final match, and then he'll go out on his back?
That kind of spoils it a bit.
It'd spoil it a lot.
But I genuinely
I think-
agree with
see,
Vic, because
that's
I
what
was
happened.
just about to say the exact same thing.
I think we're going to get a big
Yeah, it
farewell
wouldn't
bit
shock me.
everywhere.
Wouldn't shock me.
What did shock us though, and I was even so shocked by it that I wrote the wrong caption for TikTok. Yeah. Orange Cassidy retained his AEW International Championship against Jon Moxley.
He did.
And can I just point out, guys, there was blood in this match. Obviously.
No.
Obviously. Yeah, it was nothing compared to what we had later on in the night. Which
Exactly.
for a Moxley match was quite a shock. So it's like a double whammy shock.
The thing was, it was a clean win over Moxley.
Yeah. It was a bad decision in my all honesty, but hey.
It definitely threw us
somebody
for the
somewhere likes Orange Cassidy.
Well, my question for you, Link, is does Moxley need a championship? Whereas Cassidy maybe does to sort of help?
No. The thing is, I would say at this point that title is so young that it needs the competitors more than the competitors need the belt.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it was actually a great competitive match, and Moxley and Cassidy have got some great chemistry between the two of them. And I don't like Cassidy's gimmick, but as a wrestler, he's actually pretty good. He can do some decent spots.
With the exception of his just standard, like, here's my routine. It's a bit like Super Cena moment.
Yeah. But the thing is, as well, like, so Moxley actually did that during the match to Cassidy as well, which was
the little Mox kicks.
Yeah.
But then it turned into the hands in the pockets, and it's just
Do you know what?
We see it week in, week out. I'm not a fan of that bit, but Cassidy, I'm all right with.
I was thinking about this after, because I think Orange Cassidy's going to hold this a while, and I'm quite happy if I think it's going to go the way it is, with maybe him and Hook fighting for this title. Because I think that would be really good.
Danhausen coming back from injury to help Hook win the championship.
Yeah, I think him and Hook for this title, and Hook winning the title eventually will be a really good little feud, because they're both great wrestlers.
Back and win the title. That'd be better.
Danhausen win it.
Yeah.
They're building with something with Hook and Cassidy. If they're not putting them in tag team matches, they're building something there. And it's obvious what it is, to be fair.
You say that, but they've teamed Hook with a few different people now, and it's just he teams with them for a little while, and then he just sort of walks away from them, and that's the end of it. And it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like they don't know what to do with him at the minute.
I can see him out being a mid-card title holder and hold it for a decent amount of time as well, because he's a great wrestler.
But they're building the rivalry there between BCC and the Best Friends as well, aren't they? Yeah. So I at some point we're probably going to start getting triple threats between the House of Black, BCC, and the Best Friends, because they'll merge those two sort of rivalries together, seeing as BCC are feuding with both.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
But yeah, it was definitely a shock result.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Then one I didn't think was a shock result. Pete weirdly went for the champion to retain, but Toni Storm is now the new AEW Women's World Champion.
I think so. Yeah, the only reason I did that is because I think one needed a title to be relevant, the other one didn't.
I thought you were talking like her gimmick. One needs
one needed a title to be relevant, and I think she's going to get lost. And Toni Storm was doing fantastic without the title. She's been chasing it for a while, and I kind of like that gimmick. She's always chasing it. Now she's got it.
But now she's just full on queen mode, isn't she? Like, you know, she is the champion as well. But
I kind of like the psychoness of wanting that title and nearly getting it, and losing it, and I kind of like. But we'll see if I think it probably work still. Some great spots in this match, though.
I'm going to be honest. I spent a lot of time looking at her ass.
Yeah.
That was
that plate. Yeah. That plate was amazing. And it stayed there the whole time.
No, it didn't. That was the problem, Pete. It's
No, it was still there as them carrying her out.
Yeah, well, yeah,
but it didn't originally stay in the right
No,
it was
place.
supposed
and
to.
then
It was supposed to be
sort of
hidden
readjusted
in
it,
her
I think.
attire.
Yeah,
I think the handle may have gone
yeah.
south
The
of
thing
the
was-
equator somehow.
Not
Like
sure.
There was-
just-
there was a
Funnily
plate.
enough, I'm not sure it did. I think it just got caught in her attire, mate.
But there's a plate with a full-on handle, and she's like, "I know where I can hide this, and it will not be seen."
Up her butt. It was a weird thing, but I mean,
think it was all right.
it was good that Sheeta didn't take the loss cleanly. Like,
Yeah.
I think that was also the right decision, because I think if Sheeta had got the clean loss, I thought that would have made it look really weak, and it'd have been quite hard for her to come back, to be honest. So I mean,
in all fairness as well, Sheeta introduced the weapons.
yeah. What? But did she introduce the frying pan?
Tony,
though?
Tony already used the
Can't remember.
shoe by that point. No, the frying pan was like the
We'd had a couple of shoe moments, didn't we? Yeah.
plate thing that Luther was holding.
It definitely went backwards and forwards. It looked like both of them
She
were
brought
going
the
to win.
kendo stick out though, didn't she? Because she was going to hit it with a kendo stick outside the ring, and then she ended up hitting Luther with it instead.
One point when she hit that Falcon Arrow on Tony Storm, I thought that was it. So there was a few near chances.
Yeah, it was a back and forth match. It was a good
Yeah.
match. But
Neither of them looked weak.
No, neither of them did. God, that wasn't even English. I think I'm just trying to decide whether this was my match of the night. The next one.
They did say that, didn't they? She was she's now tied for the record amount of three-time women's title holder.
with Sheeta.
Yeah, so they're tied for the record amount of title reigns.
Okay.
I know what my match of the night is.
Yeah, go on.
I'll tell you when we get there if you want.
Oh, okay. So it's not the next one. It's not the
It's
four-way.
not the
four-way tag team ladder match.
nah.
That was nuts, by the way.
Okay.
It was good.
It got to the point at the end of that match. We all three of us were. Well, I started saying it, and you both agreed, and I think even Miss Fitz, who joined us last night, agreed. Said on for TikTok's sake, go and watch that match. Go and watch that full ladder match. As ladder matches go, ladder matches are usually pretty damn good. A couple of recently have been a bit from WWE, but this one was sort of right up there of one of the better recent ladder matches. If not
There's no
maybe
real
even
botches.
the best recent ladder match in the last 5 years.
I was
I
trying
really
to think
liked
back.
that.
I'm trying to think back, and the only real botch was the ladder we thought might have supposed to have broke, but not too sure if that was because they followed us straight up with another big move afterwards, which I think was planned.
Yeah, I think.
Nah. I'd say that was a gimmick ladder that was supposed to break, and they did that because it didn't break.
But I think
But that was
no
weird that
botches.
it was then Cash and the guy from the outside wasn't the guy from the outside one of the I can't pronounce it. Le Faction. Wasn't that one of their guys that helps Cash Wheeler set up the ladder again? I'm sure that's what happened.
Yeah,
It was very weird.
Maybe. I honestly
Just
don't know.
considering one of their guys had just gone through that ladder and they
It was
were
one of the-
setting up straight away instead of worrying about their guy. Was a
Yeah,
bit
it was
I
one
think
I was a bit like,
I
what?
think-
it was
I
one of
think
their
the-
entourage that come down with them.
Yeah.
I think the plan was that was supposed to be the spot that took out Brody King,
Right, okay.
but because he didn't go through the ladder, it didn't look like he was out.
Right,
Like
okay,
it should have
because
been.
it was
So
enough
they
to take.
did.
It was enough to take out. I think it was Dralistico, wasn't it? That went through
Yeah.
with him.
I have heard though, after the match, you didn't really focus on it, but a lot of the doctors come running down and it was around the ring, and they reckon it looked like it was Brody King that was getting a lot of attention from doctors and that. So I think he's took a bit of a nasty whack.
Well, it's like
I think most of them did.
Yeah, no, but they
we had a
were
moment. Wait, hang
They
on.
were rushing around him at the end. There was quite a few rushing around him, keeping trying to make sure he's okay.
Did we see Dax Harwood after he had the head connection with Brody King?
No, I don't think we did.
No, he looked like someone like Brody King, but it might have been Dax. There was a lot of them come running down,
That was
and you see him go around that side.
That was a good 5 minutes, like a good 5, 6,
Before the
7
end.
minutes from the end.
Yeah. No reports have come out of anything too bad.
Right,
but
okay, because
but
when it happened, he did some sort of salt, moonsault type
moonsault
thing.
onto the ladder, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
he did a cannonball, didn't he?
Yeah,
it was kind of. Yeah, no, you're right. It was
and there was a clash of heads.
But yeah,
instead
of body to body, it was head to head. It was like, oh Jesus. But I mean, Ricky Stark's Big Bill being the still AEW World Tag Team Champions made complete sense to me. Thanks to Pete. Pete sat there and he sort of said, well, I can see this happening. Basically, he said to me, like, right, well, I can see the Jets winning tonight, the Golden Jets winning. They take Young Bucks' spot. Realistically, who's going to make the most sense to be fighting the Jets out of these 4 teams? Ricky Stark and Big Bill. I was like, yeah, actually, Pete, that's good logic. And then that was actually the point that it meant I didn't have to do the thing, wasn't it? Was it the next one? Maybe.
That was the one you cleared.
Yeah.
You needed that when you done it. And she was like, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. You were amazing.
Right.
Pete, was this your match of the night, the next one?
Oh,
it wasn't Julia Hart winning the AEW TBS Championship. It
was a good match, though.
It was a very good match.
Definitely got my attention.
It was a very good match. I preferred this one over the Tony Storm Shida match.
So did I.
There was a lot more like, what?
This was the match that Misfits was watching and went, oh my God.
Like who?
It was Sky Blue just standing in the ring.
Oh right, right. But it was done well. It made it look like none of them were weak. Sky Blue lost and took the pinfall because Chris Statlander had done her finishing move.
Yeah.
And then Julia Hart stole the championship off of Chris retaining, which was good.
Well,
Absolutely bang on.
We had Sky Blue's pretty much new gimmick now, and there you can see the connection with her and Julia Hart. They were going to be teaming up as soon as they come out. You can see that Sky Blue's gone very dark now, which works. Yeah, it's just a really good match. They teamed up for a fair bit.
I feel like we've lost Link. Link, what are you up to?
I'm reading news articles just to make sure I'm up to date so that I can give the people the latest news when we get to that point.
The live moments, live. But Julia Hart, TBS champion, bang on. She's lost one match, was it, in singles competitions, and that was at
which was the last show. Yeah.
Mad. I have to talk about the next one.
This
was your match of the night.
I tell you what, I think this had been. It was some disgusting bits. There was some crazy bits.
I just say Swerve Strickland defeated Adam Page in a Texas Death Match.
Yeah, I think this match had my attention to pretty much any other match this year.
It was definitely the match that made us quietest.
Because Adam Page is such a bad parent.
Yeah. Do you know what? Could this be down as one of the most talked about maybe match of the year? I think it could.
No, because
there's not many above it.
I'm going to tell you why.
I'm
going to tell you why, and that's because I've chosen not to put it up on our TikTok for that, because the reason that TikTok won't like it. And if there had been less blood, I reckon you probably could have been, but because people aren't going to be able to see it elsewhere, I don't think it will.
I mean, even if people could see it elsewhere, no, it'll be some random Logan Paul match. It just will. I'm sorry.
I just think that, and not even just for the violence. Everything was that. The only bit that spoiled it for me was the dodgy cinder block towards the end. That was the only negative bit that I could think of. And it made it so obvious.
Yeah,
use something else.
They just used one earlier on where he landed on it and had no problems whatsoever. It just sort of sat there and took it, and then they use a fake one later on, and it just disintegrates by being hit on it. It's like,
use something else. That was the only bad bit. Otherwise, everything in that match, the way it built up, every time I was like, they can't get any worse. They can't, and every time they stepped it up,
he drank his blood.
Even to the end.
Oh, he drank his blood.
Yeah,
even to the beginning.
Yeah.
Even with the end, I was like, do you know what? They can't get any worse. And then they done that ending. I was like, okay, they can.
So he literally filled his mouth with his blood and then did the Triple H spray. Like, it was
It was one of those. I was just like, right, okay. I said it a few times. I am uncomfortable. Like 20 minutes in, can we end this match, please?
It went on a little bit longer than you'd think it would with a match of that sort of damage.
Especially when that all happened quite early. What was the actual time for that match?
29:55. It was only the longest match by 10 seconds, by the way.
But within the first 5 minutes, there was a lot of blood.
Yeah,
So
and
you think you're going for another
thought,
25 minutes?
I genuinely thought we might get an earlier finish than they expected, to be honest, because there was a lot of blood.
You said it so many times. You're like, they're going to the finish early. They're going to the finish
And
early.
it just never did. They kept on going. I was like, what are you doing?
I've just remembered.
What are you doing? Just end it now.
The hangman bit where he's standing up on the rope, up on the turnbuckle, and the barbed wire come across.
Oh,
what?
Yeah, we hit it with the.
Where he's supposed to get him around the neck.
He got caught.
Got his face at one point in his mouth.
I'm just glad.
I don't think it was supposed to get him around the neck at all.
No,
it was trying to hit him with a chair, and it just
the coil uncoiled.
The barbed wire came off the chair and came round his face and kind of.
Yeah, and then we also had a moment where I thought Strickland was going to get choked out by a barbed wire, like fully choked out with barbed wire around his neck. And that's what they started going for, and I was like, oh my god, please don't do this. Please don't do this.
No, he just hit the buckshot lariat, didn't he?
With it around his, sort of placed around his neck. I was like, oh, okay, fine, whatever.
It was a bit of a poop spot.
But it was. I preferred it than what I thought they were going to go for.
There's a few spots in that for like a real. So like it was a death match basically, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And for a lot of those
death match.
Yeah. For a lot of those points and during that match, the spots were on par with that category of match.
Yeah.
And then there was a few that were just like, why? Barbed wire as well, by the way, is just, it does no damage. Like I don't know if they just buy the worst barbed wire ever, but
it doesn't seem to connect very well, does it?
No.
Well, he was smacking him with barbed wire over and over and over again. It's like, there are no, like, he's not bleeding in those spots at all. It's doing no damage, and you can tell it's doing no damage. So it takes away from it.
We're saying no damage. We're saying no damage.
They used to wear t-shirts and stuff that got stuck in the barbed wire that made it look worse.
Foley was always the best.
They weren't wearing a t-shirt or anything. It wasn't getting stuck, so it was just like.
Yeah, Foley was always the best for that because he'd always have his bits of clothing attached to it.
Yeah, it got stuck in it, and even Sabu with the big baggy trousers used to get stuck in the barbed wire. You know, it's but like for these guys, it's that nothing was getting stuck in the barbed wire. The barbed wire didn't look like it was actually doing any. I mean, it wasn't doing that much damage. Like it was just. If anything, it probably cushioned the chair when he was hit with it. You know, it did less damage.
Well, we had this one with it on the board as well, didn't we? Where they were on the board and they went through the board with the barbed wire on, and then they hit the spot like 3 times and it didn't sort of attach at all. Yeah,
there was no tangling, there was nothing with it, and it was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So barbed wire, I think nowadays it's just not.
It's
not doing what it used to do. Yeah.
What it used to be. There was a nice bit in this though that I think was a nice. We're fairly sure was a nice touch. Was Swerve's attire?
It was very much fiendy.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm fairly sure his pants, as they call it, were fiend-esque. Red and black stripes and the
100%, but I'm fairly sure by the look.
It seemed to be that way. The font was very similar to the Fiend font as well.
Yeah.
So that was a nice.
I was a bit concerned. I was a bit concerned as it was basically a last man standing match. Couldn't get up to the count of 10. How they were going to finish it, but choking Adam Page out was probably like to actually have him unconscious was probably the best way.
Yes and no for me, because it was also at the same time was. If he choked him out in that position, he could have killed him. He had his thumb in between the things, so he didn't get choked out.
Yeah,
he wasn't unconscious. He was actually trying to stand up still.
Yeah.
He went stand up, but just couldn't do it.
Okay, he wasn't unconscious, but he was being choked out. But he had his thumb in between.
Yeah,
and
they done a few close-ups,
and I was like,
yeah, that was the thing. It was close-ups. Otherwise,
it was like it should have been good. Like he got lifted by it. Sure, probably his thumb's probably very sore from getting his thumb in between it.
But they shouldn't have really zoomed in on that because it would have looked really good.
Yeah. I mean, as a spectacle, I suppose, yeah, it's a good enough finish, you know.
It's definitely the most memorable match of the night. It's one I'm not going to forget in a long time.
Yeah, no, you are. Yeah. You are very right. You're very right.
Yeah, I think so.
Golden Jets against the Young Bucks. Anyone want to talk about this?
No.
Okay, cool. We move on.
So the only good bit is Young Bucks ain't getting their title shot.
Young Bucks aren't getting their title shot. They won't be facing what we think will be Ricky Stark and Big Bill. So I'm just thinking, well, who says they have to take it yet? You know, gotta just wait.
They kicked Kenny in the nuts. They kicked Jericho in the nuts. Kenny teased turning on Jericho. Didn't turn on Jericho.
We had.
That's about it for the entire match.
Young Kenny
Bucks
offered the handshake.
Young Bucks did both of their finishes as well. They stole both of the other guys' finishes as well. They couldn't put them away.
And right at the end, Kenny offered the handshake to both of them, and both of them just didn't want to know.
Yeah, and they ran outside and did their whole paddy thing where they smashed up the ringside area and hit chairs against the ring post over and over and over and over again for no apparent reason.
That table moment that cost them. That cost the AEW later in the night them getting angry at the table, didn't it?
Yeah, beating up that table.
Beating up that commentary table.
We missed something else that happened.
We have
before the Golden Jets match.
Well, before the Texas Death match.
We said because we said wait until afterwards.
It was before,
so they can clean things up.
But yeah, somebody is now all elite. Link's not sure. Like Link's fine with this guy being all elite, but Link feels like he should have waited to get himself more money.
It's a waste. It's a 3-year deal.
Yeah,
a 3-year deal for Will Ospreay.
3-year deal.
He's able to fulfill his bookings with New Japan, and then he'll be all elite.
I think Tony Khan's been really clever and just offered him a stupid amount of money very quickly, so it doesn't go crazy bids, and he's got him.
Well, I'm just glad that I called this earlier in the week. I said that I could see this being a pre-contract agreement.
Yep.
And their friendship with New Japan will help them sort of do that. It means that New Japan are going to have more eyes on Wrestle Kingdom because people are going to want to watch Will Ospreay because the AEW fans are going to want to make sure they're watching that match and making sure they're basically just being right. Okay, this is his last match before he comes to us, as the AEW fans would sort of be thinking.
I could see
a good deal all round, and I
could see a few crossovers as well. Knowing they've got that deal, they've got a very good working relationship now. And I think it's cemented it even more.
So, Fightful Connect have said we've confirmed that Ospreay is still under contract in New Japan Pro Wrestling and will continue to be through January 2024. We're told Ospreay had communicated to New Japan that he wasn't re-signing with them, and he had their blessing to sign with AEW, who have worked with New Japan for years now. The relationship between the two sides allowed this new deal to be facilitated. Ospreay will still be able to work select dates for New Japan while under AEW contract.
He'll still turn up for like random things. He still might end up with some Japanese titles still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just glad I called it exactly that way this week. Earlier in the week, I said that's exactly what will happen, and it did. I was like, yeah.
And we didn't get to see Mercedes, which is amazing news.
The thing is, for me though, Pete, it's still going to happen. That one's still going to happen. Yeah.
Will she go back to where she was?
What to WWE?
Yeah. I don't know.
Don't see it, to be honest.
They've now lost Will Ospreay, and he was someone they really wanted.
Ospreay is staying in the UK residency-wise as part of this deal, which means that he's probably not going to be full-time.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be though, does he? He's going to be world champion. He'll be world champion in August.
You've got someone like Ospreay that makes stupid money. They've got him. Mercedes, we don't like her, but she makes stupid money. Are WWE going to let her put a crazy offer in? Are they going to let her just walk to AEW? And they've lost two massive names that make massive, massive money.
I'll be honest, I think she caused up enough of the stink over the years with other things. I think they're a bit like, yeah, crack on. Personally.
I don't know. I could see that being a massive thing for them.
It's like you get rid of a problem child. You don't want the problem child back. I mean, well, we're saying that Punk might go back to WWE. That would be.
I can't see them
Find out on
losing
Monday, I
big-
suppose, whether it's going to be Punk or Orton.
I can't see him losing these big names constantly to AEW because AEW signs these big names that sell. They sell tickets, same as Ronda did. They kept Ronda for a long time. Ronda sold tickets, so I could see them doing that again.
Yeah,
with Mercedes.
money talks. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else to add about Will Ospreay link there?
There was interest in him going back to TNA from Ospreay's side.
This is what I said. I'd have liked to have seen him being the guy for TNA personally. Once it's rebranded fully to TNA.
He said there was that connection there because it was TNA that got him into wrestling. Wasn't
That's the thing. It's if he'd gone to TNA, he could still rock up occasionally for AEW. And I can guarantee they'd still let him wrestle at Wembley at All In again. That was why I could have seen that one happening. And to be honest, I saw him going to TNA more than I did WWE.
That was more of an emotional thing for TNA. You always said that.
Yeah,
but there was a big emotional connection, which made him because he said it made him think about it.
Yeah, he would have been the number one guy though, wouldn't he? I think.
Yeah, I still think there's a chance that could be in AEW. The number one guy.
Bigger pond, I suppose. Bigger pond.
Massive. We checked the roster last night.
But we did. Yeah. Yeah. But that sort of sways on the next guy, I suppose. If MJF resigns, if that's even a thing, if that's just actually it's just
is it a massive work?
Yeah, that his contract isn't up at all.
in all fairness, he ended the show by going, "This is AEW. Yeah. I love AEW. This is wrestling. AEW is the best." Pretty sure he's going to re-sign at AEW.
Yeah. MJF versus. Right now that we've had the whole shenanigans at the start of the show with MJF, Adam Cole was going to face Jay White right at the start of this match. As the match was about to begin, Jay White was saying, he'll lie down, he'll go on one leg, he was really taking the mick out of Adam Cole with his broken ankle. MJF turns up in an ambulance.
As soon as
Where
that
was
match
the police?
As soon as that match never started, it was okay. Right, something's happening here. They weren't starting, then it was stalling, and we all knew something was going to happen. He was going to turn back up.
Yeah, of course he was.
Yeah.
Well,
do you know what? I didn't see him turning up before the match started. Mind.
I thought it'd be during the match,
and I actually thought he'd let Adam Cole take the pin for him as his replacement.
So I'm surprised that all the shenanigans happened before the match, basically, and it was just all before. There was nothing during, really.
Yeah,
and there was nothing after. Like, it was very strange. It
was like, this is the fella. Look, he's injured, guys. He's got a bad leg. He's really struggling on it. He can barely walk, and then they've just gone, well, he's having a match whilst he's injured now.
You know, the only thing I would have done to make this, I think, a little bit better, I'd have had him injured, have to wrestle a match, not see Adam Cole, have him wrestle the match injured from the pre-show, come out by himself, and then during the match, maybe have Adam Cole come out. And then it would have been, what's going to happen? Is he going to turn? Is he going to stay? Have the pop come out during the match of Adam Cole just turning up.
Oh yeah, that was a point actually. We didn't say it. I mean, someone's probably already typed it in the comments now because they saw it in the first 5 minutes. But Adam Cole helped MJF and Samoa Joe retain the championship, didn't they? Yeah, they never actually said that. Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah. So I would have let him turn up during the main event, and because it was like, I have the big pop there instead of the pre-show.
Yeah, true enough. Because, Adam Cole had to be there, really, because it's now sowing the seeds for a few things. The fact that we didn't get the devil.
This is what I mean.
And Adam Cole was there, it's like, okay. So Adam Cole was there and we didn't have the devil? Oh, right.
If he would have come down during the main event, it would have been like, hold on, is he been him the whole time? And who's he going to side with? And just that little teaser without even doing anything. Just being there.
And the other teaser that they added in it was the fact that Adam Cole was going to hit Jay White with the title and then never did, sort of delayed it and then went to. It's because I read it. He's literally on the one above on my list, isn't it?
And he literally kind of just took
trying
the
to figure
belt.
out how he got the
Yeah,
two
it's
mixed up.
literally the match before. But
There
he
was-
went to hit Jay White with the title, and then there was like a little delay, and then he hit him, and then by that time, obviously, Jay was able to get his hands up and sort of stop him from himself
Well,
getting hit.
Jay
in the head.
took the
Takes that
title.
off him.
Yeah, Jay took the title without too much of a struggle.
Which looked like he kind of just gave him the belt. So that he
It
could
kind
use
of
it
did,
himself.
but that's also because he was holding himself with the crutches. But I'm fairly sure that he's gone to strike him with the title.
But then later on as well, Adam Cole pulls out of the ring and Jay White takes that without too much of a struggle again.
Yeah, they're definitely teasing it.
It's teasing it, and that's exactly what it should be, and I like that. But at the same time, it's like, well, he's still come out, he's still done exactly what MJF asked him to do, and not let Jay White take the title. He still put his broken ankle on the line. It's like it works both ways for their sort of friendship and their tag team.
You got to remember, like in the day, Adam Cole was Bullet Club, and as the old NWO statement goes, when you're NWO, you're NWO for life. So
there's that connection there.
Yeah.
And Adam Cole's they've made it. They've done it quite a few times. Adam Cole, they do like to have Adam Cole's the one to turn on teammates and stables.
Yeah,
that's the kind of repeated thing.
A lot.
Yeah, he's a big fan of that. Well, it was nice that I was concerned that they were going to have MJF win clean. You know, it did concern me a little bit early on, like halfway through the match. I was thinking, don't do that.
It had to be a dodgy finish.
Yeah,
You're injured.
I'm glad it was, because it meant otherwise it just made Jay look so weak.
Yeah, it had to be a dodgy finish. An injured MJF beating a fully fit Jay White. Not good.
Yeah, I don't think it was shenanigans enough for me personally.
Possibly
not.
I kind of agree.
Yeah, I still think that they've made Jay White look a little bit weaker by having that match go as long as it did as well. Like
29 minutes, 45 seconds. Like I said, this was the second longest of the night. Only 10 seconds shorter than the Ted Dexter's death match.
I think that's the only thing, like you said, that he managed to not beat an injured MJF in half an hour, basically.
30 minutes, yeah. It's
like, if you're not going to beat an injured MJF in 30 minutes, like, when are you?
Yeah.
Although we did have the funny moment though with the table where they MJF set up Jay White. He put Jay White on the table, and Jay White just went through the table.
And the commentators instantly went, "Ask because Young Bucks beat up earlier."
Yeah, it's taken a hell of a beating tonight. That little bit of weight sort of just threw it off.
It was bad.
Yeah, but I mean, it made the next bit, I think, for me, actually more like, oh god, that looked painful, because obviously MJF still went for the spot from the top
25 foot,
the 25-foot drop, which Link was like, it's definitely not, and then he looks, he's like, yeah, but actually maybe the distance as well, the hypotenuse, as I said last night, it possibly could have been.
I like the way you worked out. It's 1 foot and 4 Adam Coles.
It was 1 foot and 4 Adam Coles, because apparently Adam Cole is 6 foot. And everything last night, I think that's the biggest lie that we were told by AEW.
He's been told that for a long time. We've been told that for a long time.
Even WWE used to tell him he was
6 foot.
It's like,
must have such a complex about it. His Twitch chat must be full of that. You're not 6 foot.
He's very short.
Yeah, if you've made it this far, do us a favour, go find Adam Cole on Twitch and tell him that he's not 6 foot.
Yeah, but also tell him that the Hill Project said hi. just let him know we exist. Rating for the whole show?
I'll give it a good 8.
8.
I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna give it an extra half. It's a half makes all the difference. 8.5. I don't think it's quite 9.
Because they actually incorporated story for a change, which isn't a thing that AEW do very often. They did a lot of very good matches. There was no
matches that I hated. That's a lot. Even the Young Bucks I didn't hate.
You noticed every single match. You saying that every match apart from the pre-show matches had a decent storyline behind it. Every one. I don't know about
everyone. Decent might be a bit strong.
I don't know. Every one of them have had this story building for quite a while, apart from the pre-show.
Right, okay. I get what you're saying, that everything is going somewhere in terms of
every one of them.
Yeah.
With maybe, I don't know, maybe the exception of the Swerve Strickland. Well, going somewhere
They've had a
afterwards.
massive story
Swerve Strickland and Adam Page, I think, was the blow off, if you ask me.
But that's been a massive build up to that match.
Has had the build up, but it's not going anywhere after, which is probably actually.
Maybe social services afterwards, just to
maybe
find out why.
That's the only one actually that isn't going anywhere for afterwards that might affect
child alone in a home.
Might affect World's End. But go on, like, what was the number? 9.
I'm going to go 8 as well, and I'm going to go 8 for a reason. And,
Okay.
and then there's still a couple of negatives
So
in
that,
there.
like an 8.15 average it's got. Not bad.
Yeah, something like that.
Not bad.
So if we look at the purely, I don't like doing this, but we're going to go for the purely negatives from last night.
Ugh.
Ric Flair.
That's the end. Bye bye, guys. Catch you in the next one.
The referee in the main event didn't even look at the pin when he counted it. Like, it just.
Again, that's another
bad.
issue with that ref. That's not the first time he's done that, where he gets to the end and he looks away. And I don't get me wrong, I think that's partly to do with the way he communicates with the wrestlers. Is like, they know when he's looking, you need to kick out.
Yeah.
When they're looking up, and if he's not looking, they won't kick out. They're clarifying that the ref knows that's the finish.
That's terrible.
I think the only bit I was a bit gutted about
I genuinely think that's what it is, though, Link, because he's not the first time he's done it.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was selling was the reason he was looking away, but it was just.
But it's not the first time he's done the 1, 2, 3 count without looking,
which is stupid.
Do you know what? It's a skill thing. You know, like in football, you get a no look pass. It's the no look. There's
a no look count. It's talent. I think the only thing I was a bit like, about the whole pay-per-view was that dodgy cinder block, because it was such a good match.
The dodgy cinder block was on the list there.
I loved
Will Ospreay signing is on the list. I'm sorry. I think it was the wrong decision.
I think Tony Khan's made a great move, because he would have offered him a lot, like I said, a lot more than
business wise. A very smart move.
He's offered him
more for AEW.
But as a fan, is what you're saying. You would have preferred to have that pop that he is signed and he's here now.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even so much that. Like, as a fan, I'd like that sort of intrigue as to where's he going to go, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It gives that suspense and the build, which is better for telling a story than just someone's turning up in 3 months.
But again,
we've already signed him.
That's not this pay-per-view's issue, though.
No.
That's wrestling as a whole that's an issue. That shouldn't affect this pay per view just because it was announced on this pay per view. It's not the pay per view's fault as such.
No, I'm going through my negatives from the show because it was on the show.
Yeah.
It would have been really cool if Will Ospreay had done a little thing and gone, do you know what? I'm going to go into the crowd at WWE at some point, be seen there. Be seen at TNA. Be seen at AEW.
Which he could have done.
He could have done and said, look, I want to go to WWE and be in the crowd.
You imagine if he'd rocked up at fucking Survivor Series next week.
Just to be in the crowd.
And then it goes on the network in like a couple of months' time. They have to delete that segment off of the network.
But it would have built it massively.
That would have been great.
But I'd have been, they could have done it in January. He could have literally been in the crowd for the Rumble. He could have been. Hell, he could have been in the Rumble, like as just a one-off spot.
Free agent.
Like we've had people as a free agent. They'd have taken him. They'd have gone, come in. We'll do a Rumble. Like we'll put you in there as a spot.
Yeah.
I think
we'll give you a spot with Ricochet or Logan Paul.
Yeah. I'd have been good with that.
just like something, and it would have been.
Yeah,
there's so many spots that he could have done, and so many things that he could have done.
He's not played that well.
He's not played it well. He's not played it well at all.
But
the man who has played it well.
But I don't know what the if he tells us what the numbers are, bruv.
But I tell you now,
no, okay, you made the right.
Do you know what? No matter what it is, Tony Khan has probably overpaid now.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's still not as much as he would have been paying in February.
Yeah.
If it went all the way to there, nowhere near as much as that. So he saved money no matter what. It would have only, the price of only gone up.
I'm also thinking at the same time though, but what if he has completely already overpaid? It'd be a very Tony Khan thing to do, to be completely overpaying. Like he's offering I don't know, a £10 million a year contract or something stupid.
But if he's overpaid now,
it was only going to go up.
He would be worth more.
There's still only
he'd have overpaid even more.
But there's still only a limit that he would have got to, though, isn't there?
I don't know.
In terms of what he was paying him. Well, yeah, it wouldn't have just kept on going forever. Like, there's still a value to Will Ospreay.
Yeah, there is.
You know what I mean?
Sales-wise...
It might be that Will's gone, do you know what, I was looking elsewhere. This, I know for a fact that... I mean, to be fair, there's nothing to be said that he hasn't had an informal sort of mention between somebody in WWE, and they've gone, this is the sort of number we would be looking at.
Yeah.
And he's gone, okay, this is like double what WWE were even considering. I might as well take that contract. You know what I mean?
It's possible.
It literally all comes down to how big that number is and how many
noughts are on the contract.
How many noughts are on the contract? And it was a 3-year contract, right?
3-year contract, yeah.
Which is still early enough to go wherever he wants after that 3 years because he's still young enough to do it.
What I was going to say. That makes him 34.
The wrestling world, once you sign a 3-year contract at that point, you kind of, most people anyway, will then stop to get that loyalty to that company, and they'll build into that company, and they'll invest in that company, and they'll stay with the company for a little bit longer, and they'll do another contract.
He's done with New Japan.
But the thing is, like I said, if he's had this I'm sure there probably has been informal mention of a number that the WWE would be willing to offer, right? What if now that he goes to AEW and then that number that WWE are offering him is 4 times the amount because he's now becomes the world champion for AEW as well? Like
he could be there.
Actually be a hell of a lot more money than what he would have been going to WWE now, for example, and then having to work up that money because he probably wouldn't. It probably wouldn't have gone up as much. It's
exactly what would happen with MJF. A few years ago, he would have mostly signed for a decent amount of money. Now, if he did go WWE, that money would be mental.
I like the pre-contract agreement, if you ask me, because it's good for Will, it's good for AEW, it's good for New Japan. He's going to get people watching his match regardless at Wrestle Kingdom now, even if people literally tune in for the for his match, and that's it.
And the key bit to this as well is something you mentioned. He's allowed to stay in the UK still.
Yeah.
That will be a massive...
He's been allowed to stay wherever he wants anyway. It's just that now he's going to travel from the UK to America for shows all the time, which means he's probably not going to be doing it on a weekly basis.
But still getting top dollar money.
Which suggests to me that he probably is going to be their world champion at some point very soon.
Because that was always the problem with Gunther in WWE. To do that, to take a level up, he had to kind of be there.
Do you think that they'd be happy to have a part-time world champion in AEW, considering all the slack?
Because for the exact reason he's on about the AEW fans, for the exact reason that they are, what's the word?
Hypocrites.
I'd say condescending. That's not the right word. Hypocrites. Buttholes.
Does it help that they have got so many titles in there though?
This is it, isn't it? You have all the other ones. You're still getting bloody good champions turning up, even if even the likes of Orange Cassidy's being able to have a title all the time, or even if John Moxley has it, just with that much smaller title. Eddie keeps having the Ring of Honor World Championship, probably isn't going to have that forever. There'll be probably a bigger name on that one next, I reckon, in my opinion. It doesn't matter as much as it does in WWE that we have one. Well, that was the issue. There was one world title, and we only have the world champion not always there.
Yeah.
Whereas over there, they've got a hell of a lot more titles, so it doesn't matter as much, and they can build it like every other week rather than every week. That's my take.
I enjoyed it.
So yeah, I think we'll round it out there anyway. So about an hour podcast, pretty much bang on where we want to be tonight. But thank you very much, guys. Please leave a like, share, subscribe if you've got this far. Also, as if you have got this far and you have actually listened to the full podcast, if you're new to us on YouTube and you don't follow us on Twitch, could you come over to our Twitch at twitch.tv/The Heel Project and give us a follow, because we are currently 8 followers away from 1K, which will be huge.
It'd be kind of a good time to join because it's quite a busy week over there.
Link is.
And if you're enjoying our podcast, definitely do, because next week will be a live podcast for Survivor Series.
It will be.
Yes.
It will be. We'll have a bit of both. It'll be a live podcast, and then it'll go up on here 12 hours later, I suppose, won't it? Yeah. But yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Oh,
Please
sorry.
leave a like, share, subscribe, and we will catch you in the next one.
See ya.
Peace.